What is up, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you why your failures are your competitive advantage if you allow them to be. And it's all about framing. Let's go. All right, as discussed in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how your past failures are your competitive advantage if you choose for them to be. Now, that's the important part, right? Past failures, if not viewed properly, can cause you to tumble into a victim mentality. Like, these things happened to me and that's the reason why I am, because this person did this to me, and so on and so forth. It's a long and winding road, as the Beatles would like to say, back to the seat that you're currently in, which has done you absolutely nothing when you point every direction but looking inward and choosing to take those lessons. Now, I'm speaking from experience, okay? For far too long, I looked at a lot of the things that happened in my journey and my career as things that, could be looked at as failures, or I thought was wasted time, or these things that I did for these people and they didn't appreciate me, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to talk about why that's important and tie it all together, okay? For those who haven't been following most of my videos, my career started at the age of 21. My professional career started at the age of 21 at the NASA facility. I spent 9 years doing security, law enforcement, firefighting, all that good stuff, and then I got into self-employed sales when I was about 30 years old. Now, for years, for a long time, I looked at that time at NASA as not a failure necessarily, but wasted time. I was like, man, 9 years, I wish I could get back. I should have gotten to sales sooner. And then I got into health and life insurance. I did that for 4 years, and that didn't pan out because, not through to my efforts, but the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, had come around that time and really slashed commissions. The environment wasn't fun anymore. People were really angry because the government was now forcing them to get it, and it was more expensive than it was before. So I was like, okay, where can I take everything I've learned into an industry that for the most part people are happy with what they purchase? So it's needs-based consultative sales, but people aren't mad at me because the government's forcing them to buy it. And that's what got me into real estate about 11 years ago now, almost 12. But when I started my real estate journey, okay, I started off at a big box brokerage at Keller Williams. I didn't ask enough questions. I handed in a $9,000 check and got a light piece of paper back. Realized very quickly that I needed to find a better alternative to do business. I went on to help somebody else build their brokerage up from 0 to 40 or 50 agents. And I was the COO of that brokerage. Really, it's just a paper title. I was running sales meetings, sales trainings, and I was the first point of contact. If an agent had a question or needed something, and I recorded these training videos for the brokerage. And as soon as all that was done, my weekly pay went away because I was still selling, but I was on a small payroll check to help the company. But as soon as that person got what they needed from me, they conveniently decided to not pay me anymore. So I went on to open up my own brokerage with my partner. I told him at the beginning, I was like, hey man, look, I really want to be real partners in this. I just help somebody else build up their thing. I want this to be our thing. He was like, yeah, sure, bet. We did that for a few years, and I quickly realized, okay, he was the principal owner. I can't blame him, can't fault him. But, at the end, I was like, okay, I became the managing broker of that company towards the end, but I was like, okay, we're not really partners. I'm just helping him build his brokerage up once again. And so kind of jaded, right? I mean, and you might have a similar story of you doing other stuff or doing things for other people didn't pan out for you, or fill in the blank with whatever those things might be for you. I'm just telling you my personal story, and I'm going to tie it all together as to how my mind was absolutely blown when I realized that all of those failures or setbacks prepared me for where I sit today. So shortly after that, okay, during the time I was with my partner at this brokerage, I had learned so much about self-development and training agents and all of that. And I was like, man, you know what? I know so much, not in an egotistical way. That's going to sound terrible, but I've done so much work on myself. I feel like I'm valuable. I should be getting paid more because of that. And an opportunity came my way to be on a salary at a large organization inside of a cloud-based brokerage. And it was good. We did that for about a year. Then I got an opportunity to be the state broker for a new national company. It's the company I was working with previously to the company I'm with today. And it was a large role, right? I mean, I go from managing 20 agents and one MLS to managing a whole state. I wasn't sure if I was ready for that opportunity. I mean, I jumped in both feet. I figured it out. We did very well my second full year there. And when I got that opportunity, okay, and now I'm the managing broker of a new company here in the state of Louisiana, and I'm the VP of broker operations for the company, a national company. It's going to be an international company at some point. But I'm saying all that to say this. For a long time, I viewed all those setbacks, all those failures, the NASA, the health and life insurance, the Keller Williams, the First Stop, the local boutique brands that I helped build up. Not resentful towards them, because when I'm going through my analysis of myself, it's like you can't blame other people because you're the one that allowed yourself to be put in a position where you could be in your own I don't want to say taken advantage of very loosely, but because I don't want it to come across any sort of way. I still have a lot of respect for the people that I worked for. Okay. I genuinely do. These are just my internal feelings. Like, I guess the self-doubt, right? The critic, the inner critic that we all deal with and we all listen to. And for a long time, I felt those feelings, right? And then when the opportunity to open up this brokerage and be the state broker for a national company came around, I looked back at the course of my career and I was like, oh my God, everything that I've been through. When I interviewed for my previous company, they were far more impressed with my background at NASA than they were my real estate sales or my real estate training or any of the agents that I helped. And when I looked back at everything collectively as a whole and decided to not view it improperly as failures, as things I wish I would have done differently. When I look back at all of it collectively, I was like, oh my God, all of that stuff prepared me for this moment. All of those things I've been through, all the setbacks, all the failures, all those things gave me the knowledge and experience required to sit where I sit and even have the audacity to talk to you fine folks about this topic. Now, I say choose to view it that way because that's what was required. If I would have, adopted the victim mentality and all this stuff happened to me and I was like, no, I'm not helping. Like, if I would have said no, I'm not opening up the brokerage for you in the state because I feel like you might take advantage of me like everybody else did. If I would have stayed selfish, if I would have let that fear impact my decision making, I would have been, who knows where. Maybe I'd still be a solo producing agent. Maybe, maybe hypothetically I'd be doing a lot better financially if I just stuck to sales and did that myself. But I've always had this call to lead. I've always had this call to roll up my sleeves and say, yes, I'll help you out. But it's only when you look back at everything collectively as a whole can you really find that your failures are your biggest competitive advantage when you choose to view them that way. It requires a choice. It requires bravery. It requires for you to remove the mask of fault and blame and responsibility. And all these things happened to me, and that's the reason why I'm the person I am today. That can go two different ways. That can go, these things happened to me, and that's why I was chased out of the industry. That's why I was defeated. That's why I was fill in the blank, and it becomes a victim story. And the most compelling part about a victim story is it's true. That's the most insidious part about all of this, is the story that you tell yourself is true. Whether you want to tell yourself a great story or a terrible story about all these things that happened to you, and that's the reason why you are the way you are. And what I like to get across to people in my whole message, and why I feel I'm even called to speak on this, is to let you know that you have the choice. You have the power to determine your own destiny in a way that no longer says like, all these things happened to me, and all these people did me wrong, and all these people took advantage of me, and all these people didn't see me for who I really am, and that's why I'm this way. Or you can do what I did and say, wow, look at all these things that I learned. Look at all these experiences that I had. Look at all these valuable lessons that I can now take forward with me and not be jaded, not let them negatively impact me. Okay, Mike Tyson has a great quote on one of his podcasts. He's talking to somebody and the guy says, oh man, as soon as somebody does me wrong, that's it. They're cut off. And Mike Tyson told the guy, he said, well, the devil wins. He said, what do you mean the devil wins? He's like, he changed your heart. And that made a massive impact on me. Because as long as you can go through setbacks and failures and all the things aforementioned and not be jaded and not let that change your heart, you have the power to move forward with your life and use the positives, the lessons learned, and tell your own story in a way that is, look at all these things that happened to me. Look at all these amazing experiences I had and all these amazing people that have been a part of my life and all these lessons that I learned, and take that forward with me and build a future off of that. Or you can have the alternative, or you can have all these things happened to me and that's why I am the way I am. So, like I like to say in all of my videos, beautiful people, is the most beautiful part, the most beautiful news, the greatest news I could possibly share with you is that you have the choice. You have the power. You're the director, you are the producer, you're the executive producer, you are the main character of your own story, of your own movie. And there's always going to be a story. Whether you fail, succeed, decide to let all these things knock you off course and give up on your dreams, or you decide to be the hero, it's your story. There's going to be a story no matter what, so you might as well make it a great one. Why not? Why not make it the most magnificent story you could possibly make it. And the power, my friends, is in your hands. Hopefully this helps somebody. If you enjoy this content, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. I don't know. I feel called to share these messages. When I do, I hit record and just hope for the best. And that's what I hope for all of you as well. I hope the best. I hope this story helps someone, anyone. And also, you don't have to have like a crazy story like I did with all these things that I did. I mean, on paper, all this stuff looks great, right? But I'm not where I want to be. Do not confuse this, me having these conversations or posturing up. Like I'm a long way from where I want to be. I feel like I'm just getting started. So this is not a victory lap. This is me just in the middle of my journey, sharing things that I've learned along the way in the hopes that it helps at least one person. So if any of this resonated with you, please consider sharing, liking, subscribing. I'm new to this whole journey thing, but nonetheless felt compelled to share. That's it. Later.